Yeah. How is it going, everybody? Let me know in the chat. How we doing? We sounding good? What did we think of that race? What did we think of that race out of 10? I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to give like a 12 out of 10 on this one because there's the Blaney side of it. I'm doing on-air production meeting here. We got a 6.7. We got a 5. We got 6.7, 7, 7, 7.5, 7, 7, 6. Oh yes, please. I see you, Muvik. 7, 7.12, 9, 8, 7, 9. Generally, I'm gonna be honest, seems like y'all are pretty happy with it. And I totally get why. Because I'll be honest, going into this race, I did not expect really anything. I totally went into this race thinking, all right, let's get through this so we can get to the good race next week in Kansas, so we can get to the chaotic race in a few weeks at the Roval. But I'm gonna be honest, I liked it. I liked this race. I thought that we had a good amount of passing. It was difficult. It's New Hampshire. I'm not expecting this race to ever be like last week's Bristol race was, or I mean, hell, I'm not even expecting this race to be like how it is when it rains on this track. I'm totally expecting when I go into this race to just get a generic kind of relatively boring race. And in my opinion, I think we got better than that. I think tires probably could have mattered a little bit more, but they still did matter a good amount. You saw passing through the pack at different points, like 4 tires did matter on long runs. And because of how this track is, you were able to really materialize a lot of those long runs. You know, there were the dominant ones all day. The Fords, the Penske cars in particular, just lights out in this race. I mean, absolutely lights out with how good they were. But you had other challengers, especially you saw some of the Hendrick guys going up there. You saw others sort of shuffle back and forth. It wasn't just one of them all race. Logano had the good car early on, and then Blaney came on late, and you really had a race of comers and goers to me. And I have criticized Steve Letarte. I've criticized Jeff Burton. I think, maybe it's just I've had too much of them this year to listen to. But I think they put it right when they said that this race is kind of an old school or reminiscent of an old school type of race where the tires get angry, they have memory. And with that, you're seeing the guys who have to save their stuff. And I think that's why going into this race with what we had heard, I had picked Josh Berry as like my underdog pick going into this race because, he's been good here before, but at the same token, this race suits somebody like him really well. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. To let you all know now, the points side of it, and that's what I was putting in. Blaney advances with the win. Yeah, I know. We all know that. Byron's plus 47, Larson plus 41, Bell plus 29, Hamlin plus 27, Logano plus 24 markers in 6th, plus 14 for Chase Elliott, going to be on that cut line probably the whole round. And then plus 12 for Briscoe over Chastain, minus 19 to Cindric, minus 23 to Reddick, and minus 27 to Bubba Wallace. So we'll let that go on the bottom. As we go through the finishing order of this race, let's go through it now. 301 laps of the Mobil 1 301. I love that name. It just flows off the tongue well. 3 hours, 7 minutes, 53 seconds, 8 cautions for 45 laps, 14 lead changes. Ryan Blaney with his 16th career victory gets it by just over 9/10 of a second over a hard-charging Josh Berry at the end. William Byron in 3rd, 4th, Logano, 5th is Elliott. Blaney led 116, Logano led 147. Penske came to play. They had Logano at the tire test, and it obviously mattered in large amounts. 6th with the hard charge at the end with 4 tires, Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson, 7th, ran top 5 all day. 7th is not indicative of how good that 5 car was. They weren't the best, but I definitely think they're a lot closer than a lot of people were saying, for the past few weeks and months and through the summer and all of that. And by the way, we'll look at those super chats during the super chat cool down lap as well. Eighth, Michael McDowell. Solid day for Spire for the most part as well. Good eighth place run for him. Ninth, Chastain. 10th, Chase Briscoe. 11th is Carson Hocevar, who ran top 5 much of this day. 12th, Denny Hamlin. Austin Dillon, 13th. 14th, Preece. 15th, Bowman. 16th, Gregson. 17th, Cindric. Buescher in 18th. 19th, Todd Gilliland, and then 20th, AJ Allmendinger. 21st, Tyler Reddick. Riley Herbst, 22nd. 23rd, Brad Keselowski. 24th, Cole Custer, the lead lap. 25th, one down is Stenhouse. And Bubba Wallace, 26th. And I want to point that out. There were 3:23:11 cars, as there are in every race. I didn't forget them all. But I'm sure many forgot them all. And trust me, I'm seeing Denny Hamlin talking to Joe Gibbs on screen. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. 23:11, I don't know what the hell happened, but they were god awful in just about every aspect of this race. They were absolutely terrible. Slow, just everything that could go wrong with setting that thing up, that, those cars up, they managed to get wrong. It was an awful, just putrid performance, especially Bubba Wallace, who I had a lot of high hopes for. This is one of his better tracks. And, I see people say, they may surge at Kansas. They may, but they have not been as strong at Kansas as they were the first 2 years of this car. So that is not a guarantee. They still have won plenty there. So if anyone is to figure it out from where they were, it would be them. But I think the level of concern and alert is pretty high on that one, because this was a race they should have done well in. 27th, one lap down for Zane Smith, Eric Jones, and Ty Dillon, the top 29. Kyle Busch, if he wasn't caught up in the wreck, you wouldn't have known he was out there today. He was awful. 30th, 4 laps down. Cody Ware. We will talk about Cody Ware. That is for sure, because he managed. We had the Red Sox car out there, but Cody Ware was the one who managed to swing and miss today in awful fashion. Danica Patrick levels of Terabad with the revenge attempt. 5 laps down, 31st. 51 laps down for Shane Van Gisbergen. I want to say some good stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about for a New Hampshire race. I'm genuinely surprised. 51 laps down, 32nd. Last one on the racetrack, Justin Haley, 93 off the pace and 33rd. Then the rest of these guys out of the race. And again, we will talk about a good deal of this. John Hunter Nemechek, 34th. Ty Gibbs, 35th. And Daniel Suarez runs home 36th out of this race. So we're going to pop those down on the bottom of the screen here. See where your favorite driver finished. Let me know if I spelled someone's name wrong. More than likely, I probably did. Knowing me. And I'm still better than Fox Sports. But let's talk about this race. I want to talk about Ryan Blaney to start with. And we're going to talk about points, of the race, of what happened. And we're going to talk about other stuff like that. But I want to talk about Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, I think, in the last couple of years, one is coming to his own. And then again, I still view him as one of the younger drivers, even though he's been around for like 10 years or whatever it might be. But the maturity of him as a driver is really impressive to me. And I really, I can't say enough about, I think, how far he's come. There's still, I still think he needs to probably push back on guys that push him around and stuff like that. But 16th career win, right? Breaking a tie with Ernie Irvan and William Byron. He's actually, at the moment, again, this always changes, only driver in Cup history right now with 16 wins, because he's right between, like I said, William Byron and Ernie Irvan, and then right above him is Marvin Panch and Curtis Turner. So pretty good names. 56th all-time on the wins list. That 12 team is going to be a problem. They're going to be a big, big problem the rest of the way. I think they're going to show up with speed next week. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. I think they're going to show up with, of course, plenty of speed at Las Vegas. If anything, they might win their way in with that one. He's great at Talladega. He's great at Martinsville. He's great at Phoenix. Like, I could see Ryan Blaney winning any race the rest of the way. Now, it's Ryan Blaney this season. He could DNF any of those races, but he has gotten that down a lot. And that's something worth noting. The DNFs, that was a big storyline that I think was rightfully talked about early in the year. they're down on it. They're not doing as bad with that side of it. So, and fair point, 10th year, entering his prime. I mean, he should be he should probably only be getting just a bit better as he goes too. He's saw a lot of y'all say something that's true too. I think he's carried forward this year. I think that he is the best Ford driver right now. And he's going to be a problem for a while at this rate. But what we saw today is just proof more and more of that. Looking through the race itself, and we can start talking about some of the other big storylines too. Logano was the story early on. Team Penske overall, I thought was great today. Now, Cindric didn't get the finish that maybe was reminiscent of that. He was the ugly duckling of the Penske Alliance camp, but I still think that overall this Penske's better than they were last year. They definitely lulled down a bit in the summer, but Ryan Blaney has been one of the fastest ones out there every week. Joey Logano, I think, is better than last year, and this is a great sign for him. And when you look at the fact too that plus 24 heading into Kansas, as long as he doesn't mess anything up, he should be set pretty good points wise into the Roval as long as something doesn't happen. Now again, 267 laps at Kansas, plenty could happen. Josh Berry today, he finally didn't finish last. He almost won the damn race. And I'm wondering if at any point in NASCAR history in a 4-race span, if anyone had finished last 3 times and then won, because I feel like that wouldn't have happened. But I will say, overall, that Penske aligned group, they were the ones who were far and away the ones to beat. I think this is going to be indicative of Phoenix in a lot of ways. I think this will be indicative of Martinsville in some ways, which is tracks that they both run incredibly well at. If anyone, I made the prediction almost hopefully that we would not be getting, that we'd have a new team winning this year. Doesn't matter which one, just a new one winning. If you're counting any of them out, you're I don't know what rock you've been living under for the last, 4, 5, 6 years. Just the Penske team does not go down. If they go down, they come back up like the Undertaker. It's and the Wood brothers doing well too. I think that's just proof more that overall that organization, that squad is doing better. And I think that's speed that can not only be carried this year, but carried into 2026. This is stuff they can learn and keep moving with it. So, great runs there. I want to shout out Shane Van Gisbergen. He had issues today, and rookie issues for sure. Not very good in some aspects, but Shane Van Gisbergen today, I have been pounding the table saying, it's great what he's doing on the road courses. That shouldn't be diminished, but pounding the table for oval success. I want to see real oval success from SVG. I want to see him go out on a normal race that's not one of the 6 or 5 or whatever, but like one of the normal 30 oval races, and not even the super speedways, just a normal one. So even less than that, and go out and actually compete. And for the first third of this race, before he had major problems and wrecked, Shane Van Gisbergen looked like a competitive NASCAR oval race car driver. He was running top 5, 6, 7 for a large part early in this day. Looking at the stage finish, he finished 7th, and he was running better than that at different points. He had raced his way with a great start, mind you, but raced his way up into the top 10, or had been in the top 10, the top 5, and had run around there. That, to me, is the improvement I want to see. And I know there's probably a lot of people talking about SVG and being like, well, like if he would have made it and then he has a Roval in this round, he's probably making it to the round of 8. Who cares? Who cares? That I get people talk that up, and I kind of push back on it. People didn't like that over the summer. That was not the goal this year. The goal this year was get established, win a bunch of road courses, and make the playoffs. It wasn't to go very far or do anything like that. This is a huge step, and he's shown more steps. Next year, if he can get 5 or 6 top 10s at normal ovals, and then you add maybe a super speedway here and there, and then the normal road course success that we all expect him to have, we're looking, in my opinion, at a much more competitive driver, and a driver that's going to get better as the year goes on too. Well, let's remember that, because he has gotten a lot better at ovals as of late. Last week was not a great showing, and it showed how far he still has to go on the more difficult and the toughest of them. And don't get me wrong, he still ended up causing problems, wrecking today, all of that. But that needs to be pointed out. We can criticize all we want on system, road courses, merchant, all that, whatever. This is something still that it's going to be a big deal. And it is a big deal. And yeah, Isaiah Rogers is the GOAT today. I mean, yeah, I'm happy if you can't tell. The first stage, though, you had Cody Ware get spun by Fail Earnhardt. Austin Dillon. And that caused a one-lap shootout at the end where Blaney ended up winning. But what in the absolute hell was he doing at the end, right? With just some of those, some of those really just bad show. I'm seeing the bots, so we'll go sub only mode. Sorry, I don't really like going sub only mode, but I'm not doing it with the bots today, so we'll fix that. Sorry, I was getting preoccupied by the stupid bots. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we're like 12 away from 90K. So subscribe if you're new. Trust me, I don't like doing sub only mode, but I don't like the bots. And it seemed like y'all are having issues with them. So sorry. I get it. I don't like them either, but that's the last case scenario. Back to Cody Ware. He tries getting some comeuppance to the 3 and completely freaking whiffs it. Completely whiffs it. I like that one too. The impersonator. It's the Danica Patrick Landon Castle thing from 2012. It's just one of the worst attempts at trying to get back at somebody I've seen in quite a long while. And he ended up not only missing pretty much, but he completely biffs it into the wall, and just, it just a very ugly showing for Cody Ware. And that's saying something for Cody Ware standards. But we'll see a battle in the back at some point, probably at Kansas or at the Roval with them or whatever. I mean, to be fair, Austin Dillon actually finished 13th. It wasn't like he was awful today. It's just kind of funny, and I saw other people being like, oh my God, it's Nepo revenge, which I also found pretty funny. We get to the second stage, and with that, you had SVG getting into Josh Berry, where he just got into him. I wish that it was just like he got pinched a little too much, and he got pinched a little, but he got into him. I think it's a racing deal, but I think it's more on the 88 being on the bottom. And I was just thinking at that point, like, can anything go right for the 21 in these last 10 races? It's the fourth one in a row he's been around in some way. And he had a marvelous and massive comeback in this race. And I think that makes his run today even more impressive. Now, we'll talk about the finish a little bit in a moment, but I wanted to bring that up. We talked good about Shane Van Gisbergen, and there is still the bad side too. You had other things like the Kyle Busch getting into Riley Herbst. They were having their mid-off today running like 25th. Because Kyle Busch just was out to lunch. I feel like he's just given up again. And he did a while ago. But the big story outside of the winner, outside of, all these other kind of little smaller, stories that are circulating, is the Civil War at Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin and Ty Gibbs racing each other around, I think, about 110 laps, is what I said, about 110 laps in or so. And Denny is getting pissed because he's wanting by. He wants to, he's the one that's racing for a championship. Ty Gibbs isn't. And he's just getting more and more pissed. And credit to NBC for following this whole deal. Denny just basically gets into the rear of the 54 and wrecks him. He did. He wrecked him. Kind of honestly similar to what Ty Gibbs did to Brandon Jones a couple years ago. And Denny then over the radio talking about Ty Gibbs, talking about how he races his teammates, how he races others, says, are they scared to talk to him or something? And credit to the 11 team for keeping Denny on business and not getting him way off track. Because Denny has gotten much better at it as a veteran driver, but there is always those bad habits that when stuff heats up, drivers and athletes in general revert back to. And in this case, you could definitely see Denny starting in the car a little bit to spiral. The anger overflows. Ty Gibbs basically just says game on, and then gives, in my opinion, a kind of tone deaf interview. I get that he wanted to do no comment in a funny way, and he kind of does like the Kyle Busch, like, we're going to go next week and have a good run. Well, what do you think about what he said about this and this? We're going to go next week and have a good run. But here's the thing. And maybe this is gatekeeping, being a snarky asshole, right? Yeah, that's right. Everything's great. Everything's great. Everything's great. But here's the thing. You can't pull the Kyle Busch smart ass interview where you just repeat the same thing Marshawn Lynch standards wise. You can't do the smart ass interview like that and act like Kyle Busch when you run like JJ Yaley in that car. Like you just can't. It is one of the more tone deaf ways. And I get it's easy and everyone's going to dogpile on Ty Gibbs because he's, the Nepo baby that everybody hates. And they're going to say that, but you were racing your teammates. Because it wasn't, I think the 19 was right there too. Because they kind of raced in that back half the top 10, upper teens all day. The Gibbs cars were definitely a little more off than what we normally have. But you can't race them incredibly difficult. More, I'd say you raced them harder than you raced a lot of the people he wasn't teammates out there with. When you're not in that position, when you're definitely the slower car, and then get all snarky that you got wrecked, say game on, all that. Like, do I think that Ty Gibbs will probably get back at Denny Hamlin? Honestly, I don't think he's mature enough to hold himself back from it. I think it's going to probably at some point materialize. Whether Grandpa Joe can keep him back for 6 more races and be like, wait till 2026, wait till 2026. That remains to be seen. But if Denny Hamlin is racing, say, Chase Briscoe for the win at Martinsville, and that's the difference, or Christopher Bell, I totally see Ty Gibbs being the one that gets in the way of the 11. Like, I totally see it. I see him being that way. Now, I will say, if it was any other driver but Ty Gibbs, everyone would be calling out Denny Hamlin right now. This is like the one driver that Denny could have crashed, and he did. He dumped him. He wrecked him. This is the one driver Denny could have crashed where he won't be getting a ton of people just dogpiling him. And to be fair, like, I honestly think Denny probably deserves a lot of criticism because I think that was a stupid move to make. It was. But I can't deny that I'm enjoying the hell out of the fact that they're going to have a JGR Civil War. By the way, I think we can turn, and in mods, if you're all good on it, I think we can turn the sub-only mode off, and then let people just talk. Just get on them. Get any. We'll just turn the slower mode on. We just won't have it be like, 8 seconds. We'll have it be 12. We'll do 12 for Ryan. That way y'all can get them and we go from there. I appreciate all the mods nailing it. Yeah, talk. But I definitely see this as a bit of a culture issue too for Joe Gibbs Racing, because if somebody like Denny Hamlin is calling out leadership at Joe Gibbs Racing over the radio publicly, he knows everyone can hear him. I know on Actions Detrimental, he's going to talk about it probably, and he's probably going to like do damage control a little bit. But I have a feeling that a lot of people probably feel the same way as Denny Hamlin, that Ty Gibbs has a way longer leash than anybody else would ever get at that team, because he does. I don't see, unless all sponsorship pulls out support for the 54, I see no reason why Ty Gibbs will ever lose that ride. The same way Austin Dillon will never lose the 3. And so he's going to get a longer leash. He's acted like this before, whether it be, at the end that he's the one wrecking or the one who is holding people up. And I think this is probably indicative of a bit of frustration on that end of it. Plus, let's be honest, Denny is probably just frustrated in general with the lawsuit and everything else. And I think this is probably also, it's starting to get to him a little bit. He's feeling that pressure heat up. He's feeling everything off the track and everything with Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny just does not seem like somebody who is very content or happy right now in the NASCAR sphere for obvious reasons. And I think Ty Gibbs today was the vessel that he was able to take that out on, that he was able to just basically take his anger out on both directly and indirectly for things that are going on. But hey, it's fun as hell, and I can't wait to see the back and forth with it. I'm betting you that at the team meetings, Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe are probably just going to sit back and be like, so who's going to make the first move? Who's going to say something first? Like, you're gonna say, I'm not going to say something first. No, you let them say something first. It's probably going to be Denny. Let's be completely honest. Denny will probably be the one that says something first, and it's probably going to be Joe calling them into the office. Which I have to admit, too, is going to be probably pretty funny. Somebody that's in his mid-40s, like Denny Hamlin, having to be sat down with somebody that's like 20 or whatever Ty Gibbs is. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I can't wait to see more of it. And we'll talk more about it Wednesday on Danny's channel for NWP. By the way, we are 10 away from 90K. So if you're new, subscribe. We do this after every race, and we talk about NASCAR all the time. And it'd be really damn cool to hit 90K subs if we were live doing it. So just saying, might not happen, but hey, it'd still be pretty cool. Will you stream NASCAR 25? Yeah. I don't know when, but at some point, yeah. Looking at some of the other stuff that happened, though, of course, we also have a crash on the ensuing restart. The 88 and the 6 kind of get together. They're 5 and 6 wide. The 6 gets into the inside wall. They're all squeezed together. It was bound to happen with the aggression that was being put on. It was bound to happen. And that's why Shane Van Gisbergen didn't get the result that he probably should have gotten this race, because I thought he had a really good run going. But that's the question. Yeah. Where was Brad going? Like, where was the thinking of like, let's take it down on the bottom? And at that point, it was 3 wide. Let's go 4 wide on the apron with people coming down still. I failed to see where the win in that would be. I fail to see it. I do. But, that was bound to happen. It is so many times we've seen these races where they go insanely far spread out, 5 and 6 wide, and they're just that close. Somebody was bound to hit it. It just happened to be old Brad K. In the rest of this, though, you had the 5 and the 19 up front, the 22. You had the 42 losing it on the bumps entering 3. But for the most part, from this point on, it was a pretty standard, straight up kind of New Hampshire race. By the way, we're 4 away. We're 4 away from 90K. So we might hit it live today. Who knows? But Logano wins that stage. So you had Blaney win the first one, Logano win in the second one. A lot of stage points for Larson, Byron, Blaney, Bell, Elliott. Hamlin, and Briscoe in this part, and very similar for Logano, Byron, and Larson in the first stage, which is why we're seeing the big, extension back and forth of some not, being to that point and others there. Three away. I wish I'd get the countdown somewhere on there. It'd be really cool. But we get to the final stage here, and Blaney is freaking flying. The 21 is flying, and the 12 for a lot of the day had not been the fastest one. It was the 22, but they just kept working on the 12, 21 as well, and they were absolutely flying through the pack in these last couple runs. Blaney ends up taking the lead with 72 laps to go. And then a few laps later, as a green flag stops, cycles out in front of the 22, in front of the 21, who stayed out long, wanting some fresher tires. And with that, you then have the Cody Ware just crashing himself, no talenting it. Again, are we shocked? Are we really that shocked? One away, by the way. One away. I'm sorry. I love hitting these milestones live, so I get a little giddy with it and celebrating it with you guys as I look at the chat and look away from the camera. But we get it back going. 42 laps to go. 21 clears. 12's up in second. Blaney gets by, but does not get away. And it's that battle between the 12 and the 21 pretty much the rest of the way. The 21 starts flying on up there again. And put, kind of putting on a bit of a run. And I saw some people talking that it was dirty air, and I get dirty air as an issue, and then that's part of it, but I don't think dirty air was really the issue here. And we hit it. No, we haven't. Not on this end. If it's shown on your end, that's awesome. It has not on mine. I'll refresh and see, but because it's at 89,999 on my end. It's still one to go. We're still at the white flag. Now everyone's unsubscribing to be assholes. Man, screw y'all. I want to have this one moment with y'all. But with this battle at the end here, you had again the 21 and the 12 kind of playing that cat and mouse game. I really think the 21 was coming on strong, right? I think that it was. I think that Barry had the better car, had saved up his tires, and then it got up there and had to cool them off again. A lot of people are like, well, is this like a team orders thing or not? I think, again, Penske has done team orders before. I don't think this one was team orders personally, because the 21 was really, really trying to get on up there and just get the win. I mean, he's the way that team has struggled in recent years, and in the last 3 weeks, trying to get the win. And we are there. We did get it. Holy hell. That's awesome. Thank you all. Thank you guys so much. You know what this means? The next big one is the big 100. So just saying. But I agree here. I think the 21 was overcooking it over and over again. They were overcooking. He was overcooking it into the corner and was burning up those tires. And this was, in my opinion, a bit more of an old school kind of 2000s, early 2010s kind of race. You needed to save your stuff. You needed to make sure you took care of the car. And I think that's where Blaney excelled over Barry today at the end of this race, because he had multiple attempts. It kind of reminded me, if you go back and watch Carl Edwards' first win, with a couple laps to go, he kind of burned off the tires. And with it, you're hearing the guys in the booth say like, oh my God, he's done. He's falling back. You might as well let the other 16 car, I think it was, by and let him go for the win. But what he's doing is he's cooling down his tires and trying to have another charge up there. And I think that's kind of what we saw today. So again, credit to Goodyear for fixing NASCAR's problems and the problem in the box that they put themselves into with that. Ultimately, Blaney, I think, was the better driver today. And I think in general is probably in more aspects the better driver. Better equipment probably too, even though they all are Penske umbrella. And he ended up holding on, winning the race, and with it advancing. Now, I got to say, I am impressed with Barry being able to be up there and with that 21 team. I know that they have that support from Penske, but at the end of the day, that is not full on a fourth Penske car. It is in a lot of ways, but not full on. So I love the increase in performance that 21 has had year to year, from Harrison Burton to Josh Berry. The last couple of weeks have kind of dampened that, but it is important to point that out, and that this has been, in my opinion, a very successful season for all parties involved on that side of it. Something to maybe build more towards. But then of course, yeah, Blaney gets the lobster. Man, lobster sounds really damn good. Especially my wife's got me on Maine lobster. And it is the best. That sounds so good right now, man. But overall, I'd probably say a 7 or so out of 10 day. I enjoyed this race. I know a lot of people aren't going to. I know passing was difficult, but that's New Hampshire. That's flat ovals in NASCAR. It's going to be difficult to pass. It has never been easy at New Hampshire to pass, no matter the car. Hi.
You got lobster money?
No, I don't. My wife's asking if I have lobster money. No. We'll save that for tomorrow. Yeah. I would love some lobster. But anyway, let's get into the super chat cooldown lap and finish this baby off. And I appreciate y'all waiting through it and getting us over the edge to 90,000 subscribers. That's just insane. I never thought I would, be able to say that. It is a we thing. As this channel is nothing without all y'all. So give yourselves a round of applause. It's been a hell of a week. It has been a hell of a week. Let's see. 90K lobster treat, man. Come on. Nope. We gotta wait for that next 10, or not even 10 now, based on what it looks like. We got to have a good just under 10,000 more to the party, and then we can get there. We'll get the plaque. We'll have lobster with the plaque. How about that? Maybe whenever we do that, we'll do. I'll tell you this: we'll do a live stream for whenever 100,000 is near or when it hits, depending. Like, it could happen overnight for all I know. And it's probably going to be well over a year from now. But maybe I'll, while we're live, I'll eat lobster and open it up for y'all to see live or something. And we'll talk plenty of NASCAR. But let's get into the super chats. We have plenty of time to talk about all of the other different things and everything like that. Let's look at what y'all have sent in, and I appreciate you guys who waited for me on it. Jeffrey King with the 5 says Blaney is legit and Elliott is so close but still off. Great day for Elliott's team. Elliott just needs a bit more speed. This was definitely the one that I was worried about for Chase Elliott most, because I think they'll be solid at Kansas. Probably if they're able to keep the strategy side under control and well, they should be probably, I would say, a top 5 to top 7 team, get stage points, maybe win the race, but run really well. And the Roval, I get that Elliott is not the dominant guy anymore at road courses, but he is still really, really damn good at road courses. I agree with Timothy Wolf. He needed this run. Elliott needed this run. He needed to be able to go out there, get a top 5, get a bunch of points, and build a gap, because now the next 2 races line up really, really damn well for that 9 team. Let's see. Michael Kelly Gilliam, thank you for the 12 gifted memberships. I'm sure those 12 out there very much appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome aboard. I don't know. I probably need to think of a better welcome than just that. I also need to get more emojis for y'all. Lucas says, for New Hampshire, that wasn't bad at all. I thought in general it wasn't bad at all. But definitely for New Hampshire standards. And I'll say, before about the end of the 2010s. Uh, I actually like New Hampshire more than most did, especially in the COT and early Gen 6 era. I thought it kind of lost its way a little bit. Had some good finishes here and there, which was nice. But you know, this reminded me more of a COT New Hampshire race. I thought those were good. Go back and watch if y'all want to watch a race tonight and and you don't want to watch football or whatever. Go back and watch the 2009 Sylvania 300. It's a really good race. Mark Martin's last win. In my opinion, a really, really fun race. This race to me reminded me a lot of that one. And they're off of NASCAR now. That's what it reminded me of. And I thought it was a pretty good race. I'm happy. I did not, I tell you, if I give it a 4 or lower, it's because I think I wasted my time watching it. I didn't waste my time today. Michael Paul for the 17-month member chat. Dogs for Blaney. Awesome run for Barry. Yeah, I'm sure my dog probably likes Blaney. Paradox says, nice run for the 22, proving the doubters wrong. Also, Logano made the round of 8 in 2019 for the odd number curse, folks. Exactly. Don't count the 22 out. And you know what? This year has been a weird year. And a lot of stuff has flown all over the place. I will say, this is like the 8th year I've covered NASCAR on this channel, like full time. This has to be one of the storyline-wise, just head-scratching weird years. It's up there. And if Joey were to finish that off with a championship, it wouldn't surprise me. If he don't hear no bell, it ain't over. And even then, you got to wait until that last bell of tech. I don't know why that word eluded me. Justin says, Josh Berry, officially the second best Penske car behind Ryan Blaney. Seen Berry do more and be more impressive than Logano and certainly Cinderella. I still will put Logano second. I definitely think that Berry has had more upside this year, though, than Cindric. And I don't know how, if he doesn't get much better, Cindric stays in the 2 long term. But I put Logano over Berry. I think it was a good run. But Logano has shown a lot more this year than Berry has. And let's be honest, Logano this year has been way better than he was last year. So I appreciate the sentiment, but I do think that it's a little off. Kyle says, off topic, but if Goodyear brings a different tire to Talladega, do you think it would change the mundane 4x4 show? Maybe, because the deal with that part is it makes more sense for them to save because of the stages. They know when the cautions come out and all of that. And with it too, handling doesn't matter. Now, I think where the difference came in the last race we saw at that style, because I don't really count Atlanta as exactly the same style, but you could even add this as a difference in Atlanta, is that handling does matter. It mattered at Atlanta, and it matters at Atlanta, and it's such a small track, you can't do that. But with those big tracks, you can space those things out. You can save and try and strategize a little bit. But I think the difference with Daytona, 2 things, was the cautions came out at a perfect time, and handling really did matter, and it has started to matter more. The surfaces at Talladega and Daytona have gotten more worn out. Talladega is, I believe, in its 19th or 20th year on this surface. It was 2006 when it got repaved between the spring and the fall races. So I think, and I know everybody's going to laugh at me saying this because it is a meme on this channel, but hypothetically, I think that could change it. If it changed the handling of the cars, if the handling and track position mattered more than the fuel side of it, like getting track position through racing hard. I think the fuel saving part goes away if they fix the damn drafting package consistently at these tracks. Like, sure, somebody's going to try and extend it or go for it, but I don't think that if you're able to go, say, from 24th to the top 5 in 5 or 6 laps, like you could have in the early 2000s, like you could have from about 2019 to 2021 with the Gen 6, then I think you end up, not needing to save fuel, and it fixes it in that way. So I think fix the damn car is the big thing. Tires, maybe Goodyear can bail us out, or not us, NASCAR out on that side of it too. Below the Apron says New Hampshire has no place in the playoffs. I would disagree. I think that it fits a good skill set, especially when you have races like this where tire wear matters. Now will I say, is it the most entertaining, action-packed one? And again, it won't be next year. No, it is not the most action-packed race. New Hampshire never has been one that everyone looks at and is like, man, we're going to New Hampshire, baby. What a great track to be able to watch a race. No, we're not saying that. I'd argue more people would argue for Dover than New Hampshire. If you want to say mostly the same market, I should say, but more action. But I do think it does have a place, maybe as a rotation, similar to like Watkins Glen. I think it's at different points might have one, and a lot of, as long as you just keep shuffling it up, I don't think it matters too much which tracks you have in there. As long as it's not too many super speedways, too many road courses, or too many absolute stupid wild cards. Like, it's not like you do the playoffs where you have like Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Texas, Talladega, and like Bristol with the crazy tire stuff. Because at that point, you're just rolling your eyes at it. And it's like you can't, sample size wouldn't even matter in that one. It's just pure dumb luck. I get where you're at, but I will say I partially disagree with you. Marky Mark says type 1 if you're a Blaney fan. Yeah, baby. And JTN says Blaney carries Ford. I have a feeling there's a lot of Blaney fans out there tonight. So there's probably gonna be a lot of ones in that chat. Joshua Boston says, not a bad one today at New Hampshire, 7 out of 10. That's about where I'm at with it. Yeah. Philip Morris, I wonder who you root for based on your profile pic, but says, let's go. No more talk about Penske falling off at the flat tracks. Barry made it interesting for sure. Also, not eating Arby's tonight. But they have the meats and beef. It's what's for dinner. I know if Friss is watching, she's going to laugh at that. Rowdy 8 Diecast says, my dream is Grandpa Joe sending Gibby back to Xfinity or O'Reilly. And they buy Kyle Busch out of his RCR deal and put him back in the 18. I'm coping and delusional. I mean, maybe when Denny retires, he gets one last hurrah at JGR. Probably not, but one could hope. I feel like, and forgive me those who don't like the football side of it, but as a comparison of old farts still around. Kyle Busch going back to JGR in like 2027 or 2028 would be like when the Vikings got Adam Thielen back. Like, it's nice. We love him. The dude's cooked. Like, he is not the same guy he was when he left, or even the duration of being at the Panthers or at Joe Gibbs Racing or RCR or any of that. It would be nice, but Kyle would probably still be the fourth JGR car, and it has, in my opinion, nothing to do with the car as much as I think it's, he could probably get a win, and that's about it. Honestly though, and maybe selfishly too from the YouTube side, I kind of would want to see Kyle Busch, get another win, at least one more. One more just time that he can look like himself before he ends up retiring at some point in the next 2 years, 4 years, 1 year. I don't know. I don't think Kyle even knows at this point. Joshua Boston says, after today, I look forward to next week's race at Kansas. If I'm lucky, I'll probably see Eric East up there and maybe see Connor Zilich and Kyle Larson win their respective races over the weekend. I don't know if Eric's going. I know he went last year, but enjoy it. I wish I was going this year. Kansas is one of the best tracks on the schedule and one of the best races. Let's see. Please use Denny's radio on your soundboard. We'll get it. Hold on. Let me get it. I'm gonna put it right now. Denny soundbite NWP. All right. That way I remember it. And just to show y'all, I have it written down right there. I also have it written down that the 7 looked like a damn modified today, and I absolutely love that. And thank God, I hope NASCAR never, ever gets rid of that rule that they can come back out after repairing damage, because I love seeing modified cup cars out there. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's see. Justin says, I don't know, Jarrett. Only team swinging and missing is Toronto. Shocker. They're a city of depression sports. Red Sox looking good right now. So was Brad's paint scheme. I'll take it. I'll take your word for it. But Brad's paint scheme looked really good. I will agree with that. See, Joshua Boston says, I'm betting to wager that before the race, Ty Gibbs got himself vaccine of Vickernism. That's a throwback against Hamlin and Bell. Not a good look for you, Tyrod number 54. Yeah, it's just that was an embarrassment. For the most part, outside of his first, like, I'd say year and a half, Ty Gibbs' cup career's been a bit of an embarrassment. But yeah, it's bad. Kyle says, Ice, I may occasionally spell someone's name wrong. Fox Sports, 98th gear. Do I still have that one? Do I still have it? There it is. 98th gear. Because it couldn't get any worse. No, couldn't get any worse. It's bad, man. It's bad. Jeffrey King says, Gibbs on Gibbs violence, Toyota on Toyota violence. True. Northside Skull. So back. Yeah, we're so back, and then we're probably gonna get our asses, pummeled in is it Dublin next week against the Steelers. I get to wake up early to watch them lose. Yay. But I'm enjoying today. And who knows, maybe next week will be good. Hey, Dallas is losing. Nice. Young Money says Team Penske 301 at New Hampshire. Pretty much. Justin Drake, I know that the Ty fan, Grandpa, may see it as an egregious act by Denny, but Ty has done worse to teammates his entire career. Wrecked Brandon Jones when he was already locked in. Time for Ty to catch hands, belt to ass. I got to say, push come to shove, like, you reap what you sow, and Ty has probably had some of this coming to him for a long time. And we've said it for a while, like, your shit won't fly in cup. Like, they will teach it out of you, whether it be getting the belt or being kind and you actually listen to their lessons. Well, Ty didn't listen. And Denny is an old grizzly veteran who has no patience for his BS. And from the sounds of it, probably is not the biggest fan of him. So, I get it. Jeffrey says, theory, Hamlin will get fired and drive his own car. Also, only car after they lose Bubba and Reddick from the lawsuit fallout. The lawsuit fallout is going to be a lot of fun. If they don't end up settling, which I doubt they will, maybe we'll do like an NWP special over the winter when everything comes out, and then like we'll just be live and talk with all of y'all about whatever happened. Stay tuned on that one. That's a maybe, but stay tuned. That might be cool. That would be the first, because we used to go to the last week in November on the podcast. That'll be like the first time I think we ever have a show in December. And then I think we'll have gotten all 12 months. So December 1st, correct. December 1st. A Prada says third in stage 1, third in stage 2, third at the end. While Blaney is the favorite for Phoenix, don't sleep on Byron. The 24 team is stronger at short tracks in 25 than previous years. Byron also won Iowa. Yeah, I think that is a very, very logical and true statement. And I feel like, and they let me know on Twitter that I picked the wrong Hendrick car. And it got proven. But I had a feeling pretty early that was going to be the case when I saw how he was going through the pack and everything like that. So No, I don't think you can sleep on the 24. Now he's got to get there. And weird stuff happens. He got Talladega in that last round. So I'm not going to guarantee anyone makes it at this point the way I could in years past. But if he gets there, yeah, he will be a true contender. And depending on who else is there, favorite. Below the Apron says, was on the 11 on board today, and I saw Ty Gibbs door slamming the 20 before the 11 caught up to him. I saw that too. And he did that to a few people today, I noticed, before he got taken out. I don't think the garage is in any way going to be questioning Denny on this. Not at all. I think the 54, then that whole, not the team, but I think that driver is definitely going to have to start learning. Aaron, with the 15-month member chat saying, congrats on 90K. Well, thank you. And thank you both for the congrats, but also for sticking around so long. And to all of you as well. And yeah, I'm seeing everyone saying Gibbs was doing it to everyone. He was a menace. He was a menace. But thank you, Aaron. And I wish SVG could have had an entire run to show what he had the whole race, because it looked pretty good today. That 88 car did. Steve-O says, what does Denny do if Ty ruins his championship eligibility with the receipt later this year? Does he leave JGR and drive his own car at 2311 pending NASCAR? I really want a Denny championship. I don't think that he leaves unless something drastic happens, like Joe fires him. But I would not be surprised if Denny went scorched earth on social media, on his podcast, radio, after him in general. I think he would make Ty Gibbs' life a living hell, and rightfully so. There's a time and a place to get back at people and say what you want about the format. Now is not the time to do that. Paradox says, third top 5 in a row for Joey. Momentum is there. So I'm saying, don't sleep on that 22. I made that mistake last year. Not doing it again. Not doing it again. Young Money says, I just realized this was Hendrick's best finish at New Hampshire since Casey Kane's win back in 2012, I believe. Really? Is that true? Man, I wouldn't think so. But to be fair, Hendrick has been a little off as of late at these types of tracks. So, yeah, I mean, y'all are saying, I mean, seeing Napa Racing fans saying it at least. That's wild. Adam, thank you for being a new member. I appreciate it. Beast of Metal says, using data from Brockbeard's article last weekend, Barry posted the best finish following a 3-race last streak in NASCAR Cup Series history. Previous was G.C. Spencer in 1960 Southern 500, 22nd of 48. Beast of Metal with the receipts. I love it. Yeah, I would have to think that would be, or at least it'd be pretty damn, if not, it'd be pretty damn close. If anyone were to do it, it'd have to be in those early years. So, hey, y'all witnessed history today. I mean, it might not be history we all remember, but it's still worth saying, like, damn, I actually got to see that. That is a cool, like, NASCAR trivia fact that y'all can use at some point. So thank you, Beast of Metal. I appreciate it, man. Adam says, average New Hampshire race. The Gibbs drama helped. Congrats to the 12 fans. Well earned. I'd say it was on the better end, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think the drama did help, and I think that's a true statement. But yeah, the 12 earned it. The 12 was the best one at the end, and was one of the best all day. Had himself in position, whole team's just clicking. And I think it's just going to be more fun to see what they can do as the year winds on. Mittens, good to see you back from the dead, man. Great sports day for Mittens. Brewers clinch and Blaney wins. Let's go. And then you say go Brewers. I don't even care about baseball right now, man. My team won 48-10 today with a backup quarterback. I get it was the backup bowl, but I'm happy with that. I'm happy with a fun NASCAR race. Life's good. Life's real good. And then Young Money has the last one right now, unless one more pops in last second. Says, can't wait for it. Denny's podcast tomorrow. Man, he might put that out like late tonight if they're able to get back in time. And Beast of Metal, it was Brock Beard who went through the receipts, just passing along. It's still, thank you. I appreciate it. This is what I love about these streams and NWP in particular, both of them, is that as much work as like I or on NWP, we as the host put into it, Like at the end of the day, y'all being here and being so cool is what puts it all together. Especially on awesome days like this when we hit milestones. And it is we, not the game system, but you know, all of us together that hit a milestone with it today and how far the channel's gotten. I want to make sure I always let you guys know I appreciate it a lot. It means a ton. Last few here. Justin Drake says Cody Ware's new favorite thing this year, hitting up the wall and sniffing tire barriers. He hasn't been doing that for a while. Then Fred Dog says JGR was a little off, but 2311 had a really bad day. What happened? And can either Reddick or Bubba recover? I thought both were going to do better today. I did too. I thought both were going to do a lot better today. Bubba Wallace in particular. Now they could perform at Kansas, and then they're both pretty damn good at the Roval. So points wise, as long as they don't have another bad race, maybe they can point their way up there. But it's one, if one of them makes it, it's one or the other. It's not going to be, I don't think unless they both win, it's going to be both of them. The 45, I think, had brake issues. I believe they reported at one point, but the 23, that one genuinely surprised me. They've been so good pretty much since like July, speed wise, everywhere they go. And I get the Toyota struggled, but that was just insane. The amount of struggle. I mean, you're getting outrun by Riley Herbst. That's pathetic. And it's the worst possible time. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys chilling here today, having some fun. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. We actually can enjoy Sunday afternoon and night now. Now that we have an earlier start to the race, which will be really good. I can actually get to bed on time tonight. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate it a ton. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and I will see you this week. Till then, later, y'all.